The living room lights were dimmed low, casting the old oak panels in warm amber. Alan sat by the fireplace, tie loosened, wine glass resting on his knee. Lumi stood near the window, arms crossed loosely, staring out at the wind brushing through the garden. "She'll be here tomorrow," Alan said, glancing at her. "Your cousin, the one who cries at every wedding?" Lumi gave a soft laugh. Everyone's coming." "Should be." "Nice." Alan sipped his wine. A pause. "You've been quiet," he said lightly, watching her reflection in the window. Lumi tilted her head, still smiling, just tired. Another sip. Another pause. "Is it strange?" he asked, "having Keneal Otis here?" Her smile didn't even flicker. "Not really." Alan nodded once, slowly. "All right." He finished his drink and stood. "I'll head up." "You?" She nodded. "Soon." Alan left. Few hours later, the clock chimed once. Midnight. The hallway was still, the sea whispering faintly through the open balcony doors. Lumi stood outside Keneal Otis's room, barefoot. Her dress was wrinkled like she'd sat too long on the floor. She knocked once, gently. When the door opened, she gave a faint, practiced smile. "Didn't think these days would come, Keneal Otis," she said. Soft and slow, everyone seems happy. She stepped inside without waiting. The room smelled of linen and faint ocean salt. She didn't look around much, just moved to the window, resting her hands on the ledge. Her eyes didn't meet Keneal Otis's. "It's warm tonight." Silence, then a soft exhale. "You'll be standing up there with him, right?" She asked it like she already knew the answer. Then finally, she turned to Keneal Otis, still smiling, but her eyes were tired. "You always show up." The words were light, almost careless, but they landed heavy. She looked at Keneal Otis then, fully, held Keneal Otis's gaze longer than she should have. Then quietly, with no expression at all, "Guess they'll be happy to see you." Everyone else, she doesn't include herself, ... double quotes, 3 days. That's all that's left. Yet she's not talking about the wedding, is she? Keneal softly whispered. "I'm guessing you wish you could go back, huh?" Her fingers tighten on the window ledge just for a second, then relax again. She lets out a breath that isn't quite a laugh. "Back where?" she asks, voice low. "To when we were 17 and thought forever was simple? Or to last year when I said yes and pretended it was easy?" She turns her head slightly, not fully facing Ken, just enough to catch Ken's reflection in the glass. "Going back doesn't change anything," she says. Quietly, it just makes you realize how much you've already ruined. A pause. Without a second hesitation, Keneal responded. "To turn back time and take a chance on us." She knows he was right. The words hit like a slap she doesn't flinch from. She just stands there, still, her reflection in the window looking back at both of them, pale, unreadable. A long silence stretches, thick with everything unsaid. Then she turns fully to Ken now, arms crossed tight over her chest like she's holding herself together. "You think I didn't want to?" Her voice was barely above a whisper. "Do you think I didn't? Lie awake some nights, wondering what would have happened if I'd just said something, anything?" She shakes her head once, slow. "But I didn't, and you didn't, and now there's a ring on my finger and a man downstairs who's counting on me to be his forever." Her eyes flick to Kane's face, then away again. "Some chances don't come back around, Ken," Keneal said without a second's notice. "What if they do? Would you take the chance?" She doesn't answer right away, just stands there, breathing shallow, like she's trying to keep something from spilling out. Her gaze drifts to the floor between them, then to the ring on her finger. She twists it once, slow, before letting her hand fall back to her side. When she finally speaks, her voice is quiet. Not cold, just careful, maybe? I don't know how to answer that without lying. She looks up at Ken then, eyes glassy but dry. No tears. Maybe this is the last time you're not claimed, but Keneal then proceeded to hold her face in place and kissed her with all the pent-up passion. The moment Chen's hands touch her face, she flinches, just a small, sharp intake of breath, but she doesn't pull away. Her body goes rigid, like she's bracing for impact. And then the kiss lands warm, sudden, everything she's spent years pretending she didn't still want. For one breathless second, she leans into it. Not much, just enough that Ken can feel it. The way her lips part, the way her fingers curl against his chest like she's holding on instead of pushing away. Then it breaks. She jerks back, stumbling half a step, her hand flying to her mouth like she trying to hold the kiss in or keep the next words from falling out. Her eyes are wide, panicked, like she just woke up. Somewhere she wasn't supposed to be. Don't, she whispers, voice cracking on the single word. Don't do that again. She doesn't look at him. Can't. Goodbye, Eldot, then. As Keneal proceeded to walk out, he said, I always loved you. The door clicks shut behind him like a gunshot in slow motion. I don't move. Not even when the sound of his footsteps fades into nothing. Not even when the house settles into a silence so complete it feels like drowning. My fingers are still pressed to my lips, burning, tingling, tasting like salt and regret, and the ghost of something I'll never get back. I can't tell if it's his kiss or my own tears I'm tasting now. I don't cry. Not really. Just stand there staring at the space where he was until the light shifts and the shadows stretch long across the floor. Until the ring on my finger feels heavier than a whole damn house. As an hour goes by, she stood up, put on her usual mask of whatever. Happens. Here she was getting married, without him in sight. I say the vows. I smile for the photos. I let him kiss me like it's the beginning of something instead of the end. But every time he touches me, I flinch just a little and pretend it's the wind. No sign of him. For a year. Our years. 10 years. 3 years. Years. Within those 5 years, I had 2 kids. Beautiful, impossible things with Alan's eyes and my stubborn mouth. I teach them how to hold a paintbrush, how to read the sky for rain. I never tell them about the man who used to call me Elbert. I never say his name out loud. But sometimes, when the house is quiet and Alan's asleep and the kids are dreaming, I sit in the garden barefoot at 3 a.m. and stare at the ocean like it might bring him back. Like maybe if I wait long enough, the tide will return what I gave away. I still have the voicemail, the one where he says nothing, just silence and breath. I play it once a year on the day he left. It's the only time I let myself remember what it felt like to be wanted without guilt. I never stopped loving him, even though we just haven't seen each other on just the 2-year mark. I started having hallucinations of him. Then it happened again. It happens in the spaces between moments. When I'm folding tiny socks or stirring soup that no one will finish, I'll glance up and there he is, leaning against the kitchen counter like he never left. Cigarette dangling from his fingers, that crooked half smile that always knew too much. He never speaks, just tilts his head at me like he's waiting for me to say something first. Sometimes I whisper, I'm sorry, into the steam rising from the pot until my throat burns. Other times I just stare until he fades away like smoke curling into nothing. Alan caught me once, standing in the doorway at 2 a.m. with tears streaming down my face. He thought I was sleepwalking. I let him believe it. How could? I explained that I was watching a ghost laugh at something only we would find funny. The worst is when the kids are playing in the yard and I see Ken crouched beside them, teaching them how to make grass whistles like he used to do for me. My heart stops every time until I blink and realize it's just shadows moving through the trees. I've started leaving cigarettes on the back porch, not smoking them, just leaving them there. Then another night. "Did you miss me?" the ghost said. The question hangs in the air like smoke that won't clear. I'm standing at the kitchen sink, hands submerged in soapy water that's gone cold long ago. When I look up, he's there, closer this time. Close enough that I can see the way his eyes crinkle at the corners when he's trying not to look like he cares too much. My throat closes. The words scrape coming out. Every day I whisper, every single day. The ghost tilts his head, that same old gesture. And I swear I can feel the warmth of him, even though I know it's impossible. My hands are shaking now. Water dripping from my fingertips onto the floor in slow, deliberate drops. I missed you in the grocery store when I reached for your favorite cereal and remembered I don't buy it anymore. I missed you at 3 a.m. when Alan was snoring and the bed felt too big. I missed you when our daughter really laughed, and all I could think was how much you would have loved that sound. I pressed my palms against the counter to steady myself. I missed you so much. I started talking to empty rooms, just to hear something other than silence. The ghost doesn't move, doesn't reach for me. Progressively, at the 3-year mark, the ghost got more talkative and appeared more. The ghost is sitting at the foot of my bed when I wake up, legs crossed like he owns the place. "Ghost, do you still keep that photo of us in the book?" I don't flinch anymore. Just reach under the mattress and pull out the worn paperback, The Great Gatsby. Spine cracked, pages yellowed. The Polaroid is still there, 17-year-old me and him on the pier, wind whipping my hair across his face. I trace the edge of it with my thumb. Me. It's getting harder to see your face. I hold it up to the light. The colors are fading. Like you, ghost. You're still beautiful when you lie. I laugh, short, sharp. I'm not lying. I just stopped looking at it every night. A pause. Now it's once a week, maybe. "Ghost, tell me about the wedding." My stomach knots. Alan cried when I walked down the aisle. "You would have hated his tie. It was too blue. Too happy. I twist my ring. I kept waiting for you to burst through the doors like some stupid movie scene. You didn't. Ghost. Would you have run?" I closed my eyes. I don't know. Then quieter. I think I was already running, just in place. The ghost is in the shower steam this time. "Ghost. Do you still taste me when you kiss him?" The question cuts deeper than it should. I press my forehead to the cool tile. "No," I say, but sometimes I pretend. The water runs cold before I step out. The ghost is in the hallway mirror when I come out of the kids' room, just standing there, hands in his pockets like he's waiting for me to notice. "Ghost, do you ever say my name out loud anymore?" I freeze mid-step, clutching the laundry basket so tight the wicker creaks. "Me? Only when no one's listening." I glance toward the stairs. Alan's snoring drifts up from the couch downstairs. Sometimes. I whisper it into my pillow, just to see if it still feels like anything. "Ghost, and does it?" I shake my head slowly. It feels like screaming underwater. A beat like I'm calling for someone who's already gone, but I keep dialing the number anyway. "Ghost, you still wear his ring." I look down at the gold band catching lamplight. It's not his anymore. It's just mine. I twist it once, twice, a reminder that I chose this life, even if it wasn't the one I wanted. "Ghost, do you regret it?" I exhale through my teeth. Every second. And never. I set the basket down, lean against the wall. I regret not running when I had the chance, but I don't regret our kids. As the 5th year pass, the ghost finally asked, "Would you have run away with me that day? Or would you have turned back time and rejected Alan for me?" The question lands like a stone dropped into still water, no splash, just the slow, sick ripple of everything underneath shifting. I'm sitting on the back porch, barefoot, cigarette burning down between my fingers even though I don't smoke. The ghost is beside me, close enough that I can feel the phantom warmth of his shoulder against mine. The night is quiet except for the ocean and the sound of my own heart trying to crawl out of my throat. I don't look at him when I answer. I can't. Yes. The word comes out cracked, raw, like it's been trapped behind my teeth for years. I would have run. I would have left. Everything Helen, the wedding, the life I built out of guilt and silence. I would have grabbed your hand and never looked back. A breath shudders out at me, ragged, but I didn't, and that's the part that kills me. I finally turn to face him. His eyes are the same. Even in death or memory or whatever this is. Same storm gray, same softness that always saw too much. I think about it every day. The moment I could have chosen you. The moment I chose not to. My voice drops to a whisper. I would have turned back time. I would have kissed you first. I would have told Alan no before he ever asked. I would have loved you loud enough that no one could pretend they didn't see it. I reach out hesitant, trembling, and my fingers pass through the space where his hand should be. But I can't, and now all I have is this talking to a ghost who asks questions. I'll never stop answering. I close my eyes. I would have chosen you. Thanks, Elle, the ghost said briefly before fading away. The cigarette rolls off the porch step with a soft clink, extinguished by the wind. The newspaper flutters open like a broken wing, and there it is, his name in bold black ink above a grainy photo of twisted metal and flashing lights. Local man killed in single vehicle crash on coastal highway. I don't breathe. I don't move. The world tilts sideways and suddenly I'm on my knees, fingers clawing at the newsprint like I can tear the truth out of it as if I just grip hard enough. The date is yesterday. The time 3:17 a.m. The same hour I'd been sitting out here, talking to his ghost like he was still listening. No? I whisper, voice cracking. No, no, no. The article is short. Too short for a life that big. It says he lost control near the cliffs. No witnesses. No brake marks. Just the car and the sea and the silence he always carried. I read it 3 times before I realize I'm crying not quiet tears, but ugly, gasping sobs that shake my whole body. The kind that makes your ribs feel like they're splitting open. You were already gone, I choke out to the empty porch. They stand in a half circle around me, 3 versions of the same boy. The same man, the same wound. 17-year-old. Ken with grass stains on his knees and my name still shy on his tongue. 29-year-old Ken in a wrinkled suit. Lips still warm from the kiss he stole on the church steps. And the last 134. Eyes older than oceans. Cigarette smoke curling around his smile like a secret. All of them speak at once, voices overlapping until they sound like wind through empty rooms. Do you miss me? I sink to the porch floorboards, knees giving out. The newspaper crumples beneath me like dry leaves. Yes. It comes out cracked, half soft. I miss you in every language I never learned to speak. I miss you in grocery aisles and wedding vows and the space between. My ring finger and my heart, I reach toward the youngest one. First, his cheek warm with summer sun. That doesn't exist anymore. I miss how you used to say my name like it was a promise. My hand passes through him. The words settle over me like the last breath of summer warm, final, already fading. I can't speak. My throat is a locked gate, and the key is buried somewhere in the years. I spent pretending I didn't hear him say it the first time. The ghosts start to shimmer, edges softening into moonlight and salt air. I reach out again, desperate, useless, but my fingers only catch the wind. I love you too, I whisper to the empty porch, to the dark, to whatever's left of him that can still hear me. I always did. I just forgot how to say it without breaking. The youngest ghost smiles first, crooked, shy, the way he did when we were 17 and the world was still small, enough to fit in his 2 hands. Then the wedding day ghost lifts a hand in a half wave, like he's stepping onto a train I'll never catch. The last Onolder, quieter, just nods once, slow and sure, like he's finally letting me go. And then they're gone. The porch is empty. The cigarette's cold. The ocean keeps breathing in and out like nothing happened. But I stay there until dawn, knees pulled to my chest, whispering it into the dark over and over again, just in case the wind decides to carry it back to him. I love you. I love you. I freeze on the threshold of the kitchen, coffee mug halfway to my lips. He's sitting cross-legged on the floor, tiles like he used to when we were kids, bare knees, scuffed sneakers, that same hopeful tilt to his head. Young Ken, why don't you play with me anymore, Elle? The mug slips from my hand and shatters. Hot coffee spreads across the floor in a slow, dark bloom that looks too much like blood. I drop to my knees among the shards, not caring that they bite into my skin. Because I grew up, I whisper, because I got scared, because I thought choosing safety was better than choosing you. His eyes wide, earnest, never leave mine. Young Ken, but I'm still here. A sob claws its way out of me. No, I choke out. You're not. You're just a memory wearing his face. I reach for him again, fingers trembling, and this time he lets me touch his cheek. It's warm. Impossibly warm. I'm sorry, I say, against the hollow of my palm. The ghost then asked in another life, would we play lots? The question lands soft, like a dandelion seed on wet glass. I sink back until my spine meets the cabinets, knees drawn up, arms wrapped around them like I can fold myself small enough to fit inside whatever world he's asking about. In another life, I whisper, voice cracking on every syllable. We never stop playing. I close my eyes and see it. A different kitchen, sunlight instead of ghosts, flour on our noses, your laugh loud enough to rattle the windows. We'd build blanket forts in the living room and leave them up for weeks. You'd teach me how to skateboard and I'd pretend I wasn't terrified. We'd race through sprinklers until our lungs burned and our clothes stuck to us like second skins. I open my eyes. He's still watching me with that same patient tilt of his head. The ghost just smiled, then said, always keep our picture like we promised, okay? Hee hee. The laugh soft. Boyish, the one that used to sneak out when he was trying to sound brave, breaks something loose in my chest. I nod fast, too fast. Like a kid swearing she'll never lose the toy. He's already clutching too tight. I still have it, I whisper, voice cracking on the last word. It's in the book, the one you gave me senior year. The cover's falling off and the pages smell like attic dust, but it's there. I press my palm to my heart. Right over the place where the photo lives, tucked inside that book, inside a box. Inside a locked drawer I pretend I don't open. I never let anyone touch it. Not Alan, not the kids. Just me and the dark and your 17-year-old smile. The ghost's grin widens, crooked and sweet, and for one impossible second. The kitchen feels like summer again, like salt air and scraped knees. And the sound of your bike skidding to a stop outside my window. I promise, I say to the empty room, to the fading edges of him, I'll keep it forever. I'm on the back porch again, dusk bleeding into the sky like ink and water. The cigarette between his fingers glows orange, then fades, just like every other time he's appeared. I hug my knees tighter, chin resting on them, watching the smoke curl around him like it's trying to keep him solid. His voice is lower now, rougher like gravel and late-night phone calls I never answered. Middle-aged Ken, you know I always hate it when you're sad, right? The words hit me square in the chest. I swallow hard, throat tight. Me, Then you shouldn't have left. It comes out softer than I mean it, to more plea than accusation. He takes a slow drag, exhales toward the stars. The smoke drifts between us like a curtain. Middle-aged Ken. I didn't leave. I just ran out of road. I look away, blinking fast. The porch light flickers above us. Me's. I'm not sad. I'm just tired of pretending I'm not. He leans forward, elbows on his knees, cigarette dangling. His eyes still that storm gray lock onto mine. Middle-aged Ken. You don't have to pretend with me. I laugh, but it's hollow. You're not real. Middle-aged Ken. Neither is the version of you that smiles in all the photos. That lands harder than I expect. I look down at my hands. Ring's still there. Still twisted every night like a habit I can't break. Me. I miss you in ways that don't make sense. Like my body remembers you even when my brain tries to forget. He flicks ash into the wind, watching it scatter. Middle-aged Ken. Then let yourself miss me. Then the ghost said, in another life, I hope you choose me. The words settle on my skin like the first cold drop of rain soft. Inevitable, impossible to ignore. I don't answer right away. I just sit there, knees drawn to my chest, watching the cigarette burn down between his fingers until the ash trembles and falls. Then I close my eyes and let the porch light blur into stars. In another life, I whisper, voice barely louder than the wind. I wouldn't just choose you. I'd run to you. I'd find you sooner. I'd kiss you before I ever learned how to lie to myself. I open my eyes. He's still watching me, quiet now, the smoke curling around his face like memory. I'd choose you in every version. I'd say, even the ones where we're strangers, even the ones where we're too young or too late or too broken. I'd still find a way to say your name first. He smiles then, not the crooked one from before, but something softer. Something that looks like forgiveness. Then I'll wait, he says. In every life, you're not ready yet. I'll be there when you are. And just like that, he's gone, smoke and porch light and the echo of a promise I never got to keep. But I stay outside long after the cigarette burns out, whispering it to the dark like a prayer I'm finally brave enough to say out loud. I would have chosen you. I'm in the garden at dawn, dew soaking through my slippers, when the oldest version of him steps out from behind the hydrangeas, hair silvered, shoulders a little stooped, but still carrying that same quiet steadiness, like he's been waiting for me to notice him. Old Ken. Want to rewind? The question is gentle, almost playful, but it cracks something open in my chest I didn't know was still bleeding. I stare at him, at the laugh lines around his eyes, at the way his hands are tucked into the pockets of a coat I've never seen him wear, but somehow recognize anyway. Me. A rewind? I echo, voice hoarse from crying into my pillow again last night. Like, start over? Old Ken, like press play on the parts we never got to live. I look down at my hands, still young, still ringed, still shaking, and then back at him. Me. Would it hurt less the second time? Old Ken, no, but it'd be ours. The words settle in my chest like a warm stone. I close my eyes and see it. A different kitchen, a different porch, a different life where I don't flinch when someone says his name. Me. Then yes, I whisper. God, yes. When I open my eyes, he's already fading. Just a shimmer of light and memory and the faint scent of pine and salt. Me. Wait. I reach out, but my hand passes through nothing. If you like this video, please subscribe. I'm making a part 2 on this. Stay tuned.